Good afternoon, welcome to the channel. So today we're in the garage because it's raining outside off and on. It's just one of those days of constant drizzle, kind of like living in Seattle, I guess. They don't even call this rain over there. I think people on the west side of the state just think that the air is just really moist. But anyway, in last week's video I left a question unanswered that I wanted to address in this video. As we looked at some heater cores between 1960 and 64, we saw the difference between the 60-61 box. We saw the difference between the heater cores. And I said I was going to verify, because the 62 and 63 heater cores look similar, but there are plenty of listings online for 63 and 4 heater cores. There are no listings online for a 62 heater core as being sold new. So this right here in front of me is an actual 63-64 box. This is out of a 64 actually. The 63 box is identical. I have another plate over here, heater core plate out of a 63. It is absolutely identical to the 64. So 63, 64 are the same. So let's pull the heater core out of this one. I have a 62 heater core sitting over here and see what the feasibility of interchangeability is. I'm thinking for some reason it's not going to work because they don't list the heater core as from 62 to 64. Now, sometimes those parts listings are wrong. But so let's dive into this and see what we can figure out. So these are just 5/16 bolts on this to hold this inspection cover on. I can tell you on the 62 and the 63 and 4 is a lot less bolts to remove a heater core. Like say this box is out of a 64. It still has its heater core in it, so I can compare the difference between the 62 and the 63 and 4, or maybe it's by some miracle there is no difference, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Okay, so one more there. Off comes the inspection cover. We'll set that aside. And there is a heater core in there. Now this one might be pretty crusty. This has been in here for a few years. Let's see if we can get it to come loose and come out of there. There we go. So, at first glance, I'm not seeing that it looks much different than the 62 unit. We got some leads in there. This box here is actually going to go in our 63 box top Galaxie out there. Now let's take the 62 unit and see if it will actually go into this box, because it looks very similar. Well, I can tell you, let's take a look at this first. At first glance, I can tell right away that this 62 unit here is thicker than the 63, but maybe that's just a design difference between the two. This is 62 here, this is 63, 64 here. But as far as the inlets and outlets go, it looks like they're all the same. But there are these plastic nubbins here, and you can see them inside, like right here, that do guide that heater core in. And I'm thinking that the 62 unit is not going to clear those. Correct. It does not fit in past those plastic things. Those little nubbins there. Now I guess you could move those and remove them, but see, this one will slide down between them, the 63-64 unit. So they're almost identical, except for the fact that the 62 unit is wider. As you can see, the 62 unit is 2.5 inches wide, whereas the 63 and 4 unit, let's move it over so we can get a good, it's only 2 inches wide. So that 1/2 inch wider, I mean, I guess I'm guessing that the 63 and 4 unit would work in a 62 because everything else appears to be the same. I mean, if I put these side by side, they're the identical height. Height is the same. The tubes are the same. As far as, I mean, there's no need to put the 62 in this unit because 63 and 4 is available. But if you need one for your 62, I suppose you could use the 63-64 unit. So the 62 box actually looks the same. Same design on the metal, same inspection cover. The only real difference that I see between the two boxes is the position of these white plastic things. So it almost looks like, I don't know if you could spin these. You can. So this box allows this thicker 62 heater core to go in it. Let's move that out of the way. That doesn't want to move out of the way. And I got one piece of this black here that doesn't want to come off. I think that is supposed to stay on the heater core actually. So you got the 62 core here, which will slide down in there. And you've got the 63 and 4 core, which will go in there too. It rattles around a bit more, but you could probably put something to space in there. So I'm guessing in a pinch, you can use a 63-64 heater core in your 62, even though it doesn't show. Most of the part stuff says that 62 is not available. Again, the 62 core will not fit in the other box because of the plastic things, which appears to be the only difference. You can see where they're mounted on the side there. But you can definitely, even if you put these rubber things, that's going to take a little bit more space and keep it from, just put some padding in there, some rubber stripping like that to keep it moving around. But it looks like the later heater core will work in the 62. Will not work in the 60 or 61 though. That's a completely different animal. So it appears that the only difference between a 62 and a 63 and 4 box is that this right here, this little molded thing here, is moved over about a ½ an inch on the 62 box to move these a ½ inch over and allow for that wider heater core. Why Ford did that, why they made a change on the box to go to a ½ inch narrower heater core, I have no idea. If anybody does know or has any kind of theory, put it in the comments below. I'd love to hear. Maybe by some rare chance an ex-Ford engineer will see this video and say, oh, yeah, we needed to save 0.23 ounces of weight in every car because they were getting a little portly, so we shaved a ½ inch off the heater core. But anyway, there you have it. There's the difference between the boxes. And like I say, I wouldn't be too worried if you're looking for a heater core for a 62 Galaxie. It looks like you'll be able to get one from a 63, 64. It'll fit just fine. This plate on the box is the same. You might just have to put a little something in this area here on the core to keep it from rattling around in the box. So, I hope this helps somebody out. So there she is buttoned back up. You know, I was thinking about it for a minute, and since these plates are pretty much, the boxes are pretty much identical except for moving that one thing, you could theoretically just probably put a 63, 64 box into your 62 and just use the narrower heater core that fits right in the box. So that's another option. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Our unfinished business. So after putting the heater core in the other day, when I got done, the fan didn't work, but I did do this in the dark, this splice right here, and I'm not thinking the devil good. So what I'm going to do before I actually just take it apart and redo it is I'm actually going to test continuity between here and here and see if there's actually if that actually is the case, that it is not a good connection, or if I've got something else wrong. I did already order a new old stock fan control switch off the old auction website, but that's probably going to be a week before it's here. So let's check this continuity. All right. So let's put it on the horseshoe thingy. And right now it says OL. Open line. And let's see if I can stab through this coating here without stabbing through my finger, which is what I usually do. Let's put it up against the firewall there, where we can really get into that thing. And sometimes you don't need to make a big hole. Almost no resistance. I remove it, goes right to open line. So my connection's good. So my problem lies somewhere else. Unless my bullet just wasn't making good connection, but it seems like it is. Let's plug it partially in. let's go back to the firewall here. Wish I could find the same spot I just went to. That would be cool. Let's see if I touch just the little metal piece right there. Oh, I turned it off. Like, it's not showing nothing. Looks all right. So we're making connection. Okay, let's snap together. So that's not my problem. So next we probably got to look at that switch in there. So, startling revelation. I'm thinking I need two things to drive this thing. I need heat, defrost, basically, because, I mean, even through June here in the Pacific Northwest, it's still like 37 degrees in the morning. Your windows are still fogged up, or got a light coating of ice on them, and I need wipers. I'm thinking, okay, it's got an electric fuel pump in it. The original fuel pump's been bypassed. These cars have vacuum wipers which run off that fuel pump. So I'm thinking there's no way the wipers work, since there's nothing attached to the top of the fuel pump, which has been inoperable for years. But I turn the switch and, I mean, they're no Gazelle, but they're doing wiping things. They're actually wiping water off the window. Huh. Who knew? So he must be running the vacuum source off of another part of the engine. I like how you under load, under throttle, they don't work very much. I let off, watch, and they go faster. But they do work. Totally cool. Now all we need to do is get this heater going and this fan working, so we got some defrost blowing on the window, and we got ourselves a driver. Even on cool spring mornings. So what we're gonna try is see if we can run 12 volts just directly to the fan motor to just make sure this fan's gonna run. I did test this on just a battery in here and it worked. On the back of the motor over here. I don't know if it comes from the valve cover or oil sitting in it. Nope. Running. She runs. Let's see. side. Oh yeah, look. I knew this thing was running before. So I'm not really, so I've got it direct wired to the battery right now and it's running. Of course the switch doesn't do anything because I'm just wired direct, but it blew a bunch of crap out of the vents, so. So let's go to warm. You can hear the fan running. Let's try. There's warm air coming out of here, out of underneath. I know you can't see that, it's getting dark. But wow, yeah. Let's go to heater. Oh yeah, now we got some warm air blowing out of here. I'd say the switch isn't going to do anything there, so I don't think the switch is doing anything. Maybe that's my problem. Like I say, I got one on the way, but anywho, let's go. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Now we got some hot water, idiot. We got some hot air coming out of there now. So that's all I gotta do if I wanna drive it somewhere. It's just hot wire the fan motor directly to the battery, and then remember to unplug it when me and the missus are in the restaurant, and so we don't run the battery down. No, we're gonna fix it right. Like I say, I've got another fan switch coming. This one feels really hard. I mean, it does click into positions, but the thing that still baffles me is it seems like that this was working before, so. So we did accomplish our objective, even though it wasn't the way we wanted to. We do have heat, we do have defrost in the Edsel. The heater core is working. We just got to get this fan switch thing figured out. Again, I still don't know why, because I'm pretty sure it worked before. It worked last year anyway. So anyway, I will wait for the switches to arrive. I ordered a couple of them. Figure they're not that new old stock ones weren't that expensive. They're like 20 bucks on the old auction site. So those should be here within a week or so. I'll try to update you, see if that fixed the problem. But again, we know the fan works. We know we have heat in there. It'd just be nice to switch it on with the dash. So it's getting dark and it's still sprinkling slightly. That's going to conclude it for this video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you haven't already, please just hit that subscribe button, especially if you like vintage Ford vehicles, especially the bigger ones. It doesn't cost you anything, really helps us out. We can continue to drag these things out of fields and barns and wherever we can find them, and after many, many years of slumber, and get them back on the road. I hope somebody found something useful in this video. If you did, comment below. We can always use encouragement. Critiques, we'll take those too. Anything you see that we could do better, we're happy to try to oblige. Again, thank you for watching. Got more coming up real soon on the Edsel. We've only got 2 weeks before we go to Portland, less than that before we leave. Where we're probably going to see a lot more weather like this, but it's always fun. It's kind of like deer camp for us car guys, where a bunch of us get together and get to bench race and talk about parts and cars and all that kind of fun stuff. So we'll see you in the next video. God bless. Have a wonderful evening.